My name's Logan, and today we're going to build a traditional style farmhouse table with construction material. Now please subscribe by hitting the red subscribe button below. Also like and comment because it helps me a ton and it takes about 10 seconds. Stick around and watch the video. It's made inexpensively and it turns out great. Thanks for watching. First I'm going to start by cutting the 4x4s down to size. I went with 30 inches on each 4x4. Now I set up a stop block on my miter saw stand to make the cuts repeatable and a lot easier. I always use my planer. I'm going to plane the 4x4s to give me sharp edges as well as clean up any sort of manufacturer's defects in the 4x4. Now here I am cutting pieces for the base. I'm just cutting 2x4s. What I did is I cut 2 long pieces and 2 short pieces. There I clamped the 2 pieces, the long pieces together and made it in one cut. And then for the shorter pieces I just set up a stop block. Now I'm cutting off the bullnose portion of the 2x4 as close as I can to the edge to not remove a lot of thickness. I did it on both sides, but I'm not going to show all of that in the video. And now more planing. You can see the nice sharp edges on those 2x4s. Now for the short pieces of the base, I was able to stand them up on a table top, a nice flat surface, and I used all 3 screw holes. Now for the longer pieces I had to bring the pocket hole machine down to the floor and stand them straight up. Now I always add glue with pocket holes. Again, I've never used pocket holes before for a table, this for the base or for the tabletop. I wanted to get this one done fairly quickly, and I also just wanted to try pocket holes on a table. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos and other people doing it, and I've never done one that way. But again, I use glue. It absolutely adds strength. If you try to remove the screws and then take it apart, the glue is going to be stronger than the wood. It's not easy to get a glued pocket hole joint apart. Now I clamped everything together because anyone that's used pocket holes know that they can slide around while you're screwing it in, and that can kind of mess up the piece. So I clamped them down securely and then I also added some metal corner brackets to give it a little extra stability and strength on the portion where the longer piece hit the 4x4. And I added some mitered corners in there. Again, probably overkill, but this was my first table with pocket holes, and I wanted to make sure it was not going to fall apart since it wasn't for me. I just put in 4 no pre-drilling necessary screws in there. Now, if it was a fine piece, then I would probably pre-drill it just to be safe. But this was on the inside, and 2x4s. And none of them split. Now those are the cross pieces. I cut 3 of them. I just spread them out evenly and screw them in. That'll prevent the tabletop from sagging, and it will just give it a little more stability in the center. It'll keep the table from rocking back and forth. They're a good thing to do. Now the corner miter joints is not necessarily something you'd have to do, or the metal brackets, but I would certainly do the cross pieces. Now finally, I'm going to paint this white. The color that I used was China white. This is what the customer wanted, and it made it easy for me. All those pocket holes will be underneath the table on the inside. They will not show. Now for the tabletop, I use 2x8 pine, and I'm going to cut off the bull nose on that as well. On one side, I cut off just the bull nose portion, and then once I flip them around, I cut them down to 6 1/4 inches. That way I could put 6 of them together, and the width of the table will be it'll be 38 inches, I think. No. It'll be 37.5 inches, the width of the tabletop. And I cut everything down to size as far as the length and the width before planing them, but of course I did plane the tabletop as well. Now, if you're going to plane anything, the tabletop is the most important part to plane. You want every single piece there to be the same thickness. You don't want to have like a messed up tabletop. Now for the tabletop, I put in 5 or 6 pocket holes. I just spread them out. I did 1 pocket hole, moved the Craig jig over, screwed another one. Pretty easy process. Anybody can do it. The glue is the portion that's going to give you the most strength on the tabletop. The pocket holes really just kind of keep it lined up and make it so you don't have to wait for the tabletop to dry, for the glue to dry before it's ready. Now I brought those into my basement and had to put them on the floor, and my garage floor is not extremely level, my basement is, so I just kind of wanted to make sure that I was making the tabletop level. I did 2 pieces at a time because I did run them through the planer after. I don't show that in the video, but that's part of the reason why they're 6 1/4 inches, because my planer takes 12.5 inch thick pieces. Now I use my body weight to push them down flat, and There it is, time to pop. There's the polyurethane. I use a semi-gloss polyurethane. I spread it all over the entire table, sanding in between coats. Now this project turned out great in my opinion. The customer loved it. The thumbnail picture is the picture of this table installed in their house. Again, please subscribe. I hope you enjoyed the video. And let me know in the comment section below if you have any questions, if you have any suggestions. Just leave me a comment, let me know what you're thinking. Thanks a lot, and I'll have another video out soon. Enjoy.